Wisconsin state government has a proud history of collective bargaining and cooperative labor relations. Almost 70 years ago, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, was founded right here in Wisconsin by state government employees. Today, more than 90% of our permanent classified employees are represented by labor unions. The Department of Employment Relations and the Wisconsin State Employees Union work together closely to build on our state's tradition of positive labor relations. Today's workshop is a result of this partnership. This training program is being financed by a federal labor management cooperation grant that DER and the WSEU jointly applied for and received. This grant project is entitled Identifying, Communicating, and Replicating Best Practices in Labor Management Cooperation. The two-day workshop you are about to begin is a critical part of the grant project and builds on the very successful labor management forums conducted earlier this year. At these forums, over 700 labor and management representatives from across the state learned about best practices where labor and management are working together to improve cooperation, working conditions, and productivity. Today and tomorrow's program will help you master the skills to create similar results in your work units. Each of you is here today as part of a labor management team from your work site. You were selected because you have made a commitment to actively participate in the training workshop, develop a specific plan to improve cooperation at your work site, and evaluate and report on your results. A key part of this training program will be the opportunity to develop specific plans to improve cooperation at your work sites. After this workshop, the Labor Management Committee will provide on-site assistance to selected teams to help them implement these plans. This training program is a unique opportunity for labor and management to attend training together and build on Wisconsin's proud tradition of labor management cooperation. To begin today's program, we are pleased to have Governor Tommy Thompson and Labor Management Committee co-chairs Marty Beal, the Executive Director of the WSEU, and Peter Fox, the Secretary of DER.
I'm very pleased to have this opportunity today to speak to you directly as you begin this important training workshop. You are among a select group of state employees from the ranks of labor and management. Because you are here today, I already know you are committed to improving the way state government does business by improving the way we conduct labor management relations. I fully support the work you are doing through this project, which is being jointly sponsored by my office, the Wisconsin State Employees Union, and the Department of Employment Relations. You are here to learn about best practices and how to replicate them in labor management cooperation across the state of Wisconsin. Best practices are simply good ideas worth sharing and making even better. They're part of our continuing efforts to create the strongest possible partnership between management and organized labor in state government. During my tenure as governor, I have worked very closely with Marty Beal and the WSEU, as well as the other unions, to form this partnership. Together, we are creating an important labor management legacy for Wisconsin. Our state has a proud tradition of collective bargaining and, yes, positive labor relations that dates back to the very beginnings of organized labor in this country. My charge to the Labor Management Committee, which developed your training today, is to use this outstanding opportunity to create a new national model for labor management cooperation. But the committee cannot be successful without your knowledge, your commitment, and involvement. You are the key to our collaborative success. Because of your personal involvement, I know that this effort will yield more meaningful and satisfying work for state government employees, and yes, more efficient services for the citizens of Wisconsin. And that's the bottom line. More meaningful and satisfying work for state government employees and more efficient services for the citizens of Wisconsin. When you return to your agencies, you have the opportunity and the responsibility to change the way we do business in state government. In a very real sense, you are pioneers as Wisconsin moves to higher levels in labor management cooperation. To help you succeed in this groundbreaking effort, I will continue to do everything possible to see that you have the opportunities, the tools, the resources, and the support that you need to create cooperative relationships at your work sites. I truly believe that by working together, we will find new ways to cooperate, communicate, resolve problems, build trust, and improve working relationships. This project and your training here are important elements of my commitment. I commend you for demonstrating the leadership and the initiative to participate in this workshop. Throughout my term as governor, Wisconsin has demonstrated national leadership in many areas, including labor relations. With this grant project, we are again demonstrating this leadership because this project is so important. I've asked Marty Beal and Peter Fox to report to me and to the Cabinet on the results of these workshops and the progress of this grant project. I look forward to hearing about your successes. The citizens of Wisconsin and I are counting on you to make this commitment for change as we continue a new era in state government labor management relations. Thank you for accepting the challenge. Now, let me share this time with my friend, Marty Beal.
Thank you, Governor Thompson. Today we are here to talk about our next major step in this progress of labor management relationship. As I was preparing for this tape today, I thought if we could just provide the recipe so that all could see the kind of relationship that not only the union has with the administration but with the Department of Employment Relations, and somehow box that and add water to make the training program what it needs to be. You can see from the relationship of the governor and the Secretary of Employment Relations and the union that there is a true relationship, a relationship that goes beyond labor management, a relationship that we will be talking to you about in the next several days. You are on the cutting edge. You are part of the next major change process in this labor management relationship. You are changing the face of relationships in the work site, but more importantly, you are changing state employees. You are colonizers, if you will, folks on the cutting edge, people who will be spreading the good word, who will be educating rank and file workers to begin dealing with each other as adults to adults rather than the traditional adult to children relationships. It is an exciting time here in Wisconsin. It's an exciting time in labor management relationships. You are at the forefront. You are the ones who will make it work. You are the ones that the future of labor management lies in your hands. So with that, we would hope that all of us to our fullest potential will over the next day develop what needs to be developed and go forth to the work sites to change the face of the state of Wisconsin's labor management relationship. With that, I will turn this over to Peter Fox. Peter?
Thanks, Marty, and good morning to each one of you. On behalf of my colleagues in Governor Thompson's cabinet and members of the Labor Management Steering Committee, welcome to this two-day training program. We hope you will find it to be a worthwhile investment. The Department of Employment Relations is proud to have a role in the precedent-setting program of improving labor management relations, but I must add that without the leadership of Governor Thompson and Marty Beal in seeking ways to cement the working relationship established over the 12 years of the governor's tenure, we likely wouldn't be talking about this subject today. The Department of Employment Relations, DER for short, is the central human resource agency for state government, although all agencies have their own HR staffs. It's our job to ensure that state government services are provided by a skilled, motivated, and diverse workforce. DER is committed to providing responsive service to its customers, state agencies, state employees, and the public. Our long-term vision is twofold. First, we want to be positioned at the forefront of human resource management by creating and administering a system based on excellence, diversity, efficiency, responsiveness, continual improvement, and innovation. Second, we want to encourage and enable fellow state employees to achieve their highest potential. We would be unsuccessful in working toward our goals without the support and involvement of people like you, and that's why I'm so delighted you are involved in this important high visibility training workshop. As you have heard from Governor Thompson and Marty Beal, our labor management cooperation program grew out of a recent history of cooperation and mutual understanding. That was formalized into a process called consensus bargaining, which DER and the Wisconsin State Employees Union have been successfully using since 1992. The practice now has expanded to other labor unions. Consensus bargaining also is known as interest-based bargaining, win-win bargaining, problem-solving negotiation, and collaborative bargaining. But regardless of what we call it, the approach has several key characteristics which emphasize mutual gain. Mutual gain emphasizes also the separation of people and personalities from the problem under discussion, and a focus on interests rather than positions, and an emphasis on using objective rather than personally subjective criteria to evaluate and select options. Making the shift from traditional confrontational style bargaining to win-win bargaining has taken time, effort, and training, and has led us to this new plateau of learning, labor management cooperation. Several principles guide the labor management cooperation process in Wisconsin state government, and I think a few of them may be of particular interest to you as you make your investment in this training. First, we recognize that a successful labor management process is not free. There are significant costs in time, resources, and training. Labor and management must be willing to view these costs as an initial investment on which they expect to gain a long-term return in improved quality, employment security, and mutual growth. In our case, both the WSEU and management are providing tremendous levels of support for this program. Second, labor management cooperation must be uniquely tailored to reflect the needs and culture of the specific location. There is no single formula to be imposed from the outside, but there is a set of fundamental principles necessary to guide you. You are involved in this training because you have the skills to tailor the lessons learned to your particular work site. No one can do that better than you. Finally, labor management cooperation, with its underlying values of democratizing and humanizing the workplace, is simply a preferred way to work and live. It's that simple. But we've got to make the investment in training, caring, and following through to ensure it becomes the norm and isn't the exception. No matter where we work, whether we come from the ranks of labor or management, whether we are young or old, male or female, no matter the color of our skin, I'm sure we can all agree that the greatest assets of any organization are its human resources. Each person, working individually or collectively, has the ability to strengthen and change an organization for the better. Thank you for taking up the challenge. We wish you well.